holy shit, another great episode, Adrift. Glacier, what you think?
Great episode. I mean, like I said, this show keeps me engaged from start to finish. There's just so much world building, character building. I felt like we were getting like 3 different storylines in just one episode.
I mean, essentially we were. And honestly, like, again, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I don't see how people can complain to one, that the show's boring, because I was engaged the whole time, even during like the slower moments. Just the sheer scale of everything. You mix that with the incredible cinematography, the incredible set pieces, the incredible music, and there was incredible writing in the show, because how many times in this episode that was I saying bars?
Yeah.
Like when Doran, or when King, I think the King's name is Doran as well. When Doran was like, "Oh, we can trust the elves," and King Doran was like, "You can't trust the elves no more than Hammer can trust the Rock." At some point, one of them's got to break. Like, that shit's great writing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but I guess we'll start with each of the different storylines and kind of break down what we learned. So we can start with the whole shit with Elrond and Lord Celebrimbor. So first thing I want to start off was the hammer that they mentioned that Celebrimbor had at Eregion, which is like a high elf, essentially like, I guess, where the forge, like where the elven forge or the smiths live, and that's where they build and forge shit. So Lord Celebrimbor essentially like in a long lineage of elven smiths that build shit. But I guess the hammer was built by Feanor, and I guess when I was asking what the Silmarils were, because I think there was a prequel book that was written called the Silmarillion, and that was like the whole like prehistory, like during like the years of trees and the first age and all that. But apparently, like with this hammer, it was used to forge the Silmarils, which were these 3 jewels that were, I guess they were forged or they were created from the 2 trees of Valinor. And I'm guessing it was before they were destroyed by Morgoth. So it has like a huge significance in terms of like elven history, and I guess in the creation of, I guess what you would call Middle Earth or whatever these lands are. So essentially, Lord Celebrimbor is kind of wanting to bring like a second coming of these like elven smiths, like forging these like great tools to kind of help shape the future of Middle Earth. And so he had the blueprints for this tower that he wanted to build, and the tower essentially was where he would forge what he's doing, which I'm still guessing are the actual rings. So the tower, I was trying to think if the towers were, or we've seen the tower in any of the Lord of the Rings movies. I haven't seen the Hobbit trilogy, Glacier Pass. I don't know if you remember those.
No,
but I'm thinking like in the prologue of Fellowship of the Ring, it showed a close-up of the rings themselves being forged. So that is what his plan is, that maybe that location was the tower that he has the blueprints for.
Yeah, we know Sauron forged his ring in Mount Doom.
Yeah, the ring of Baval was forged in Mount Doom.
Yeah,
I was thinking it's definitely not Sauron's tower, because that one was like really like giant and pointy at the top.
Yeah.
So that this tower that he has the blueprints for is more like elegant. It seemed like it was built for the sake of like, you know, elves forging like powerful tools or whatever.
Well, the cool thing with the forging though at least led to us finally getting to see dwarves.
Yeah, we finally get to see Khazad-dûm in all of its glory, which is epic as fuck. Like the set piece there was amazing. We meet Prince Doran and his wife Disa, which seems like Disa's like the rock of the family. But it's crazy too, because like in such a short period of time, we didn't see any flashbacks of the relationship between Elrond and Doran. But yet you still feel like
Feel the tension.
Yeah, Elrond was missing, pretty much went MIA for 20 years, which to an elf is, like you said, a blink of an eye. But you know, even like with a dwarf, apparently a dwarf's lifespan is like 250 years from what we read.
Yeah.
But still, 20 years, that's still like almost 10% of your lifespan.
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, it was a blink of an eye to you, but I lived a whole life in that lifetime. Like, you missed my wedding, you missed the birth of my 2 kids. So, I mean, you can feel, and that's some like real friend shit, like, even in the real world.
Yeah.
Like, you have a friend that you have to ride or die for, like, they're friends for like 50 years.
Yeah.
So they're friends for 50 years, and then you went missing for 20 years.
Half a century. Yeah, you missed that. They're friends. Yeah, friends with me for like 30 years and taper off.
So imagine, yeah, friends with somebody like me and Glacier fucking with each other, and all of a sudden, like, goes for 20 years, like, come back. See, you're bringing out some pent-up rage. I'm sure if we're like,
Or maybe longer.
BFFs, then you're gonna.
I mean, 70 years. You might have known him. Like I've known him 50 years. And
No, it's been like at times like 70. Like we were friends for 50, you disappear for 20, and now you're back.
shit,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, any kind of friendship, you're gone that long, even if it was for good reason, and then you come back, like, you miss a big part of my life, bro. Like, we were ride or die, and then you just went ghost. I don't know if I fuck with you anymore. But luckily, you know, Disa is like, you know, the rock of the family. She said, listen, you guys are friends. There's maybe some crazy shit happening. You guys need to just like, you know, call it water over the bridge and just get over it.
He's like, well, you did not see also I planted that tree.
Yeah, and I'm guessing Elrond gave him that tree, which I don't know if that was a tree from, or if it was a seed from the 2 trees of Valinor. I think that's what he was saying. Because, and then they were surprised that even though through like darkness and conditions where a tree shouldn't survive, that tree was able to flourish. So that should have been like a representative, like a symbol of their friendship. Like even in times of darkness, even when going gets rough, our friendship should still blossom and grow. So
then that battle back and forth was cool.
Yeah, he like pretty much
competition, whatever you want to call it.
He erected the right of Sigurd Tarak, which I guess like is frog ass dwarf challenge. Like, we're just gonna pretty much have a rock breaking contest. Whoever doesn't break the rock or taps out is banished from Khazad-dûm. And even though Elrond lost and he tapped out, obviously it's their friendship. Kind of he has a soft spot obviously for Elrond. And he's like, well, at least just walk me out, and that way we can kind of sort this shit out. I can tell you what I'm really here for.
And later during the episode, I remember seeing the Hobbit trilogy, and at the end of the episode, it's a glow, and I'm thinking that's I can't pronounce it. You wrote it down.
Yeah, I was thinking. I mean, it seems like it was like an ancient, because they're miners, so they mine like these like precious minerals and rocks and probably diamonds and shit. So based on that, we kind of looked it up that maybe the Arkenstone, which I guess essentially is called the Heart of the Mountain.
Yeah, but I remember that was in the Hobbit movies. That was an important treasure that the dwarves were trying to get back from Smaug.
Yeah. So apparently, I don't know if it would like the fate of Khazad-dûm. Obviously, we look in the Fellowship of the Ring. The Fellowship of the Ring, Khazad-dûm is pretty much ruins. It's destroyed. So reading on the Arkenstone, essentially, like from what I understand, it was dragons that destroyed Khazad-dûm. Maybe it was Smaug. And I feel like they took I don't know if they took just the Arkenstone or all their minerals, whatever they've been mining, whatever treasures they've been mining. Because what I do remember, like, I've seen a shot of Smaug. I haven't seen the movies, but Smaug, wasn't he sitting on like a mound of gold?
Yeah, he was hoarding shit. He's like a hoarder. He hoards the gold. And I remember in that film, it's not really a spoiler, Arkenstone's somewhere in the gold. I don't think even Smaug may even know what the fuck it is. He's like, oh, it's just part of my hoard. Yeah,
but anyways, like the Arkenstone is essentially like the heart of this mountain, because they kind of look at this mountain as a god. They sing songs to it. They like they pretty much listen, like this mountain tells us we're to mine and we're not to.
Yeah.
It gives us good luck. I mean, it's pretty much like almost like the tree in Avatar.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy seeing like how he pretty much got the support of the dwarves because he needs them to help with the forging process. So I'm wondering if the Arkenstone, if that's what the rings are forged from, or that's just going to come in later in the Hobbit trilogy. I'm not sure.
Right.
But then you go to, so you have that whole shit going on, which is great storytelling there. And then you go to what's going on with Galadriel, where she jumped ship. She was, I guess you could say she was saved by these people that were kind of adrift. Their own ship was wrecked by that worm. And we find the character Halbrand, where he's pretty much like, he was saying that, I don't know if he escaped his land, but it seems like his land was destroyed. And he said he was from the Southlands. I was thinking maybe he was from Numenor, and he was one of those like high class of humans, but he may be from somewhere else, because like after the fact we're kind of putting two and two together. He says he's from the Southlands. He says his town was destroyed, and he kind of fled. Horden is a town that we see later, or like throughout the episode, where Arondir and Bronwyn, which is Bronwyn's hometown, and that Horden was destroyed by those frog ass mole creatures. I don't think they're orcs. They had a different design than the orcs, but
the only reason I said orcs, I guess, is because Halbrand was saying that orcs destroyed his village. So I'm wondering if I guess maybe he thinks of them as orcs. I'm not sure.
Yeah, or maybe they are orcs. I just said they look like they had a little bit different design. They look blind, kind of like how moles are, and obviously they burrow and dig tunnels. So if they're orcs, maybe it's like a different class of orcs.
Yeah.
Or maybe because they're underground, they have different characteristics. They are blind because they're in the darkness all the time. But for the sake of it, let's just say they're mole orcs, right? Yeah. So they destroyed Horden, and they didn't find any bodies. So I'm guessing some of them were probably eaten, because that one was wearing the skull. I'm thinking it was like a skull of like a horse or a sheep or something. So I'm guessing they probably ate some of them, or some of them escaped.
And some of them escaped. Maybe they're the ones on that boat.
Yeah, so maybe Halbrand was from that same town, or a different town that was also destroyed by those mole orcs. But he said it from the Southlands. I'm guessing that Horden is the Southland town. So maybe, again, could be a different town in the Southlands, or it could be that specific town.
And you can already see it in this episode that they're building Gallandale. Is that your name? Galadriel. Sorry if I'm butchering these names. And, they're starting to form that bond, like right and die.
Yeah, because again, when you spend so much time together and you guys are saving each other's lives on multiple times, like she was getting drugged down into the abyss, and he went down, saved her, and cut the rope with her own dagger. And so I feel like they're going to be really close. I won't say like a love interest as of yet, but again, we need to improve these human-elf relations anyways. Arondir and Bronn were kind of like setting the stage for that. So we have another, elf-human relation here with Halbrand and Galadriel. But even if he's not from Numenor, I feel like the ship that found them at the very end is probably a Numenorian ship, because the way like the shadow, whoever that was on that ship, either he seemed like someone of royalty or like the captain of that ship or something. Yeah, that ship looks super elegant, and that's what I think of when I think Numenor. I think of like this elegant like empire, this city of riches. So
let's hope the other guy is Aragorn. Or
Arondir.
Hopefully Arondir's alive.
He got pulled in by those mole orcs. So I'm guessing. I mean, he seems like a really powerful warrior, almost like Legolas. Like like expert warrior that can probably survive some shit. So they probably caught him slipping there, but I'm sure he found a way out. But it's a good thing that Bronwyn, kind of like what I was saying as it was happening, like, damn, she needs to like cut this thing's head off and show it to Galadriel. Look, this ain't no wives' tales, ain't no rumors. You want a proof and pudding right there for you, baby. You gotta get the shit out of here. So they're leaving their town, and then meanwhile you have what's going on with the Harfoots, where I guess her nickname's Nori, short for Eleanor. She meets this like mystery creature from the sky who crashed down in a meteor.
Yep.
Every time he breathes or gets mad or anything, it's like this epic ass breath. He has like the lungs of a god or something. Like anytime he screams, it's like about to knock down trees and cause earthquakes and shit.
Sorry to Lord of the Rings squad, I called him Gandalf. I thought it was a young Gandalf at first. I was like, well,
I was thinking he could be a wizard because like he towers over the Harfoots, kind of like how Gandalf towered over the Hobbits.
Yeah.
And like I remember anytime Gandalf like pulled out his wizard energy, he would have like those big echoey voices.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, yeah, he could have very well been a wizard. But I think it's something. I mean, I keep saying maybe he's Sauron just based on like how everything's being set up. But it seems more ominous than helpful because he kept drawing a map. He kept bringing up this Ure Mana, which seems like some apocalyptic shit. I don't know what it means, but I'm sure we're gonna find out. But the thing that stood out to me is at the very end when he takes the fireflies out of their lanterns, which is a great touch. Like that's a great part of like set piece where they use fireflies in their lanterns. Yep. That's what creates the light. And he's able to almost like harness those fireflies to create this like a map of like a constellation. I don't know if that's his hometown because I didn't know we got like different planets in the whole Middle Earth map. I just thought everything was like on this one planet. But if he's from somewhere else, maybe he's like mapping out his home. Maybe he wants to return home, or he's mapping out some kind of prophecy that's prophesized by this constellation. Maybe when these stars are in orbit, crazy shit happens. But then the fact that the fireflies immediately, as soon as he did that, it drained the energy out of him and immediately killed the fireflies. So I feel like there was like this amazing beauty followed by death. That's got to mean something.
Yeah.
So I get it. Lord, like Nori is a type where she's like, oh, I feel like I'm here for a reason. I feel like all this shit's happening for a reason. She's probably building off that one elder's energy. Was his name Pardok or Sadok, where how he's reading all these different symbols and what shit means out of this book.
That's where she's gonna find.
I feel like she's gonna look for those constellations in the book. But the fact that she just happened to be there when Sadok is like prophesizing all this crazy shit's happening, and at the same time she's like by nature she's like I feel like I'm bigger. I feel like I'm meant for more than what's just going on in our town. And then this shit happens. So she all feels like this is like destiny for her, right? Yeah. But I feel like it may be more like darker tone than she's thinking. She's thinking like maybe this will like save the world. I'll bring peace to our people. But I feel like it's gonna be like it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Yeah. And I feel bad because her dad broke his ankle trying to erect that whatever that was, and they're migrating. So she was like felt good, like damn, I should have been here helping. And now like hopefully they don't leave his ass behind. Hopefully it seems like they're very tight knit people where they kind of carry the weight of other people.
Well, she definitely won't leave him behind.
Yeah, she'll carry him on her shoulders if she has to. But yeah, I feel like I want to get more about what's going on with him. If he's just like another threat that's tied to Sauron, or if he's Sauron directly, we'll find out. And then you have Bronwyn's son Theo, who has what I'm guessing is Sauron's sword because he picks it up. The sword literally draws the blood out, almost like a stream. It kind of reminded me of what this guy, the mystery guy, was drawing on the rock. It looked like little branches.
Yep.
And think about the leaf when King Gilgalad, the king of the elves, you see the leaf and the black shit's like etching through the veins of the leaves. I feel like all those are kind of like they're portraying the same shit.
It's almost like that it's almost like I don't know if they're called, I forget if they're called witches in Dragon's Prince. Claudia, her character, how she was a sorcerer, how she would suck the life out of something. Like it looks beautiful, and then she had to use the life from it.
Yeah, it's like a life for a life. Like when you have to create magic or chaos, it's like there's got to be a sacrifice.
So maybe he's like a sorcerer. Like you're right. Maybe he is a sorcerer.
He might be a sorcerer or a wizard.
He's drawing that power.
But maybe he's more of a Saruman than a Gandalf.
Yeah,
like he's corrupted already.
Because you heard voice when they're having that, and when he's locking eyes with Eleanor, you can hear like those voices, same voices like when Frodo used to put on the ring and shit.
Yeah, and it's cool like when you see the zoom in, like when zooming in on her eyes and zooming in on his eyes. Her eyes, they kind of remind me of Frodo's eyes. Like her eyes are like dilated, and like that same eye color. Maybe that's just a characteristic of the Harfoots, which are ancestors of the Hobbits, right? So that shit's so crazy. It's crazy too how when she first went to that crater that he was in, the fire didn't burn her, and I feel like it's the same shit that when Galadriel and her squad are in that cave or in that like castle, whatever it is, and the fire wasn't like warming their hands. Like one of her guys, like, oh, my hands, like I can't have no feeling in my hands. She's like, oh, I think there's so much evil in this cave that the fire doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. That's parallel to why there's not feeling the heat from there's so much evil around this person.
Yeah, so I feel like that's definitely the connection there. So then you have that whole shit's going on. So I feel like again between these three storylines, it's all I feel like all connecting to what eventually is going to be the threat, which I feel is going to be the coming of Sauron.
It's gonna be one big crescendo. That's why this build-up's really amazing, because you know these episodes are gonna hit hard as fuck when it gets there. How many episodes did they greenlight for first season? Did they say?
There's 10 episodes, and they already have 4 more seasons coming after this. So it's gonna build up this epic storytelling. I feel like with Galadriel and Halbrand, I don't know if they're gonna be welcomed with open arms or they're gonna get captured. Because we kind of saw some of the scenes from what to come from the rest of the season. I feel like he gets arrested and she's like breaking him out.
Yep.
But the empire that they go to, I feel that's Numenor because it just looks epic in scale.
Yep.
And so I want to confirm like where Halbrand's town is from, because he's from the Southlands, but is it kind of are they going to eventually meet up with Arondir, because maybe him and Galadriel know of each other because they're elves from different cities, but maybe they know of each other.
Yeah. And
then Bronwyn maybe will recognize Halbrand. Like, oh wait, aren't you from Horden?
Yeah.
You're from my town, or you're both from the Southlands, so they'll have that connection there. Nothing else.
What's that necklace mean?
Yeah, no, and the necklace it's gotta be some kind of sigil from his city. I thought maybe it was a Numenor sigil because I don't know any better, but I guess we'll find out. And then of course you have Theo, who's gonna have the sword of Sauron, so that's gonna tie into everything. That's gonna tie in when eventually if he meets up with Nori, because his people are migrating. The Harfoots are migrating. Maybe they intersect, and then like, oh, you have the sword. Those swords doing froggy shit. It's kind of like reforming.
Yeah.
I feel like that's gonna be the new ring in this episode. I think it's gonna be corrupting him.
Yep.
And then the shit with Elrond and the dwarves, like with this Arkenstone, that's gonna come into play. What's going on with Sauron?
Yep.
And the shit that Lord Celebrimbor is going to be forging the rings. You know, some of the rings got to go to man, some of them got to go to the elves, some of them got to go to the dwarves. So eventually, all their shits are going to connect just off the ring. So it's just great. And again, this is just my personal opinion. I don't see how people are hating on this show. Whether you're saying it's boring or it goes too far off what the novels are. But at the end of the day, it's epic storytelling. Like, they're putting their money where their mouth is with the show. And I wasn't bored at all. Like, even during the slow scenes, I know this is building up to something. Even the Fellowship of the Ring, the whole trilogy. Especially the unedited version or the director's cut, were all 4 hours long. Yeah. And I guarantee, from what I remember watching those multiple times, it wasn't all action-packed, bing, bang, boom. A lot of times it was just dialogue or just them walking from one place to another. So sometimes you got to have this build-up. Because I guarantee you with this show, if they were just bing, bang, boom, action, 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 right to the plot, people would be like, oh, this show feels rushed.
Or it feels like I can't feel like if someone,
I feel
if the character dies, it's like,
Yeah, you got to have these slow burns to make shit matter when shit starts popping off. So again, people are entitled to their own opinion, but again, this channel, if people are going to keep sitting there and bashing this show and hating on it just for sake of hating on it, honestly, just keep that shit to yourself, because I'm going to read it and roll my eyes. I'm like, wow. I feel like sometimes with this shit, you got to learn to appreciate it. Now, if this show just goes completely off the rails, it starts being like goofy and silly for no reason, or characters start making stupid decisions just based on what we know about the characters, I'll call them out on it for sure. But for right now, first 2 episodes were fire. But other than that, I can't wait to see more. Final thoughts, Glacier?
Yeah, final thoughts. Amazing episode, start to finish. Amazing show. Looking forward to Thursdays. I'm glad we have a good spread out of different shows. You know, we got Sunday, House of Dragons, Rick and Morty. So a lot of different things coming. I feel spoiled. Dragon certified.
Yeah, I mean, we just gotta be appreciative of the fact that we're in this like golden age of television, because budgets are getting more expensive than even movie productions. Like these big blockbuster movies, I guarantee there ain't no blockbuster movie that has $1 billion budget. So we just gotta appreciate this shit. And again, I'm not gonna sit there and try to compare this show to House of Dragon. I guess people can say, oh, this is like the battle of the prequels. But I mean, I'm just gonna appreciate them for what they are in their own lane, and just take it for what it is, and just kind of see where this journey takes us, for better or worse. But so far, I'm loving this show so far. So Dragon Certified, fucking hit it. And there we have it, guys. Another one in the books. More questions. What did you guys think in there in Dragonland? Again, all the stuff that we have questions on in terms of like the Hammer of Feanor and, you know, the Silmarils, whatever those jewels are that came from the trees. If you guys have any more non-spoiler insight on that, let us know down below. If that is the Arkenstone and Khazad Dûm, let us know down below. And again, if it doesn't spoil, if you guys want us to react to the Hobbit trilogy, I mean, we heard, you know, negative reviews, but again, we kind of should like practice what we preach and kind of just make our own judgments on that movie trilogy. But I feel like if any of that's important to what's going on here with the Arkenstone, with Smaug, was Smaug the one that, or were the dragons the one that destroyed the Khazad Dûm? That's why it's in ruins and Fellowship of the Ring. Any other, you know, Easter eggs, let us know down below.
Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And if you like what you see, you can check out more videos right now. But until next time,
we'll see you next time.